Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my April TBR. I have to start this video by saying I'm sorry. I'm sorry I've been MIA for 2 months. Did not think that would happen at the end of January when I did my best of 2024 video. I thought I would just go into February and just keep going and keep being consistent because it was like my 1-year anniversary of being consistent on YouTube. And of course, that's when all hell broke loose. I was on a mini vacation and after that, life happened. And after that, I was sick. I was fighting 2 very different colds. I'm still recuperating from my last one, so I'm sorry if I still sound a little bit off. But I think it's time to get back into it. Not to say that I wasn't filming in between. I have so much footage, but my brain just wasn't in it when it came to editing. So I kind of went into hibernation mode a little bit late in the year. But now that the sun is out and spring is coming, I'm kind of feeling like I want to go back into it. So here we are. Let's go. I have so many books and so many plans that I want to talk about, but not too many because I noticed that I put too much pressure on myself in January with my lofty yearly goals and all these ideas that I had for different series on my channel. And I think I tried to do too much at once and then I didn't do anything. So I'm just not gonna be like, this is for this kind of video, and then I'm not gonna deliver. So I'm just gonna talk about books that I might want to read, and if it ends in some kind of themed vlog, even better. If not, then at least I did read it. Just for an example, I said that in January and February I wanted to read the whole series of the Bone season right up until the new release in February and read that then and have like an in-depth vlog about all the books, and I'm still on book 1. I read, I think, until like 40% and then I stopped because I was just too much in my head about how I wanted this vlog to be, and then I just ended up not updating anything. So hopefully I'm just gonna go back into this and read it, and then if I want to I will review it at some point. But I think I just have to try to be consistent with any kind of videos and vlogs in general without having a too difficult kind of concept, because I'm not there yet. I will be at some point and the ideas will still be there, but until then I still want to read the books and I still want to talk about them in some capacity, but maybe not in the vlogs that I kind of had in mind for them. So I'm sorry if you were like wondering where the hell that vlog was or like what happened to it. It's probably not going to happen in the way that I kind of thought it would be. But that's okay. We're kind of trying new things and it's fine if not all of them work out. Since I didn't do any kind of video in February or March, you don't know what happened to my TBR game that I played for January and February. And if you're new here, I have a TBR game that is based on Cluedo and it helps me pick books for certain prompts. And this year I decided to do the game for 2 months so that it gives me a bit more time to actually read all the books, because sometimes TBR does get a bit big sometimes depending on how the game is to me. So I decided to do January and February combined, and let's see how that turned out. All in all, I had 16 books on my TBR for January and February, and I did well. I didn't get to read everything. I ended up reading 11 books and started 2 that I still haven't finished, but I started those 2. So I did start The Teller of Small Fortunes and I did start Bad Eater. I'm so sad that I haven't finished either of them, because one of them was a buddy read with the Patreon of Gavin and the other one was a highly anticipated new release in January, but also in April, because US UK releases were different. So I'm kind of still in the right atmosphere of release date, so I'm okay with that. So those 2 I still want to continue and hopefully finish in April as well. And then we have 3 more books that I just didn't actually pick up in any capacity. Those 3 were still The Courting of Bristol Keats, and if you saw that video, you know this was on my pile of shame because that was my rollover from my December TBR, and now it's getting rolled over again. And the other two books that I didn't get to were The Dagger and the Flame by Catherine Doyle, as well as The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzon. Still want to read both of them, kind of. This one I've heard many people DNF'd, but I still want to read it. So I have to pick one book of these two to also roll over and be on my pile of shame. And I think I'm gonna go with this one because I am intrigued why everybody's kind of DNFing it. And from the synopsis of it, I still want to read this more than I want to read this one. So the new pile of shame is this. I can't put these on any prompts that I will get this time around because yes, I did play my TBR game and it was kind of nice to me. So I was wondering if I should do it for this month or for 2 months, and I decided yes, I want to play again. I had kind of like a month where I didn't do anything, like any readathon or any kind of plan, because in January I also did like a month-long readathon and decided, oh, a month long, that is just too much. You have to be like on point the whole month. That is just too much. So of course, going into February, I did this exact same thing. And in February, it was Get a Clue Readathon, which was actually a month-long readathon that was centered around Cluedo. So it was perfect for me because like I said, I have my TBR game that is also based on Cluedo. So Rainy did an amazing job with that. I had so much fun. But again, it was a month-long readathon. It was a lot. And in the end, I decided that that was enough. I had learned my lesson. And even though there were so many amazing readathons happening in March as well, I decided to take a step back and just have a mood read month, and that was March. Mood read March. I just picked up whatever. I didn't really have any TBR in mind. But at the same time, even though I enjoyed just picking whatever caught my fancy, it also meant that I didn't read as much as the previous months because I have so many books on my TBR that it was kind of difficult to choose what I want to read. So I feel like I kind of need to take into account like what I kind of want to read during the month and have like a TBR and then choose from those in order for me to actually read a lot during the month, if that makes sense. So I'm glad that I did this. I'm glad that I had a month of just recuperating and just not having to deal with the TBR because I still had to do like a lot of work. I had to pick up a lot of shifts. So I'm kind of glad that April has come because in 2 weeks time I'm gonna be off for a week. Then there's gonna be Easter. We have a long weekend around the 1st of May. So a lot of time for me and just relaxing and enjoying spring, and I rambled on long enough. So April, let's talk about it. Speaking of month-long readathons, of course, I'm gonna take part in Aurelium, the spring equinox. And if you don't know anything about this readathon, I'm gonna link the announcement video down below. G is better at explaining everything, but you basically pick a character that goes to this magical academy and you pick a calling, a kind of career path. And according to your career path, you choose the different subjects that you need to take part in. And every class is one prompt for a book. So depending on which career path you choose, you have to pick a certain amount of books to read during the month. Now this is the 4th year that I'm taking part in this. I have lost count if I actually like survived all of these rounds, but if I did, then I would be graduating this year if I were to go for Master of Elements, because that's what I always go for, like that's my career path. But this year, G kind of threw us a curveball and gave us new career paths, and one of them is looking really good right now, and that is Hearthkeeper, because the first thing that it says is, do you believe in the magic of food? Yes, please. And if you read on for this kind of career path, it has so much to do with kind of the cozy fantasy era that we all live in and that we all love. So I'm kind of debating if this is something that I want to pursue this year, just because it's cozy and it's a bit easier to accomplish than Master of Elements. We'll see, because actually there is a lot of overlap. So I'm gonna see if I can finish my reads for Hearthkeeper, and if I still want to continue, then I can continue with the different classes also for Master of Elements and see if I can achieve that as well. So before I go into my own TBR game, I'm just gonna quickly tell you what kind of books I want to read for Aurelium. So for Hearthkeeper, I actually need to only read 4 books for 4 classes, and the first one is Alchemy, to read read a book that has a book title in all cap, and I decided to go with The God and the Guisin by Sophie Kim. This is an arc that I have. It is released in May or in June. May or June, so I'm a bit ahead, but I really can't wait anymore to read this. I loved the first book, which was The God and the Gumiho, and I thought about if I wanted to reread it, but actually I just want to keep going. I want to know like what's happening, because at the end of book 1 there's like something big happening, and I need to know where the story is going from there. Book 1 is about a god and a Gumiho. Both of them are mythical creatures that have lived for a very long time and are now thrust together because of a murder that happened, and both of them are not the easiest people to work with. So it does have kind of like a murder mystery aspect to it, but there's lots of banter, and I just love these two characters interacting with each other, so I can't wait to get into the sequel. The next class that I need to get to is Spells and Incantation, and for that I need to find a book that has a word in the title that is also part of the title of the last book that I read. G said to check the book that you read while you were watching the announcement video, and for me that meant I had to find a book that had Dungeon Crawler Carl anywhere in the title. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, can I find something with like crawling or like Carl, because I mean dungeon, really? But I was happy to find that I actually did have something on my TBR, and that is Dungeons and Drama by Christy Boyce. I've been meaning to get to this one for quite some time now. It's supposed to be a very cute, I think, YA romance. Very nerdy, very like sweet, and it has dungeons in the title, so perfect. So yay that I found something for this prompt. Next up is Elemental Studies, and for that I need to read something with a fruit on the cover, and that was hard. I mean, food, yes, mushrooms or any other kind of like vegetable, no problem, but fruit? Thanks, G. So I did find two things, so I might just wait until the new release of the next saga volume comes around, because I think stuff is thrown at her and one of them is a banana, so that would work. Or I will read Sujin Witherspoon's Bingsu for 2, because if you look closely you see that there is something like a cherry on top of the bingsu. I've never had bingsu. I think it's supposed to be with fruit, or it can be like eaten with fruit, so I'm going with it's a cherry. Again, very cute little romance, contemporary romance, and it has food in it, so I'm always up for these kinds of stories. And the last book that I need to read for this calling is Restoration, and for that I need to read a book with a 4+ star rating wherever we look up books. For me that's Goodreads, and so I have two choices, because I do want to read the first choice, but if it doesn't grab me then I have like a backup. So the first book that I want to read for this is Favorites by Elaine Fargo. This has been all over the internet, and the reason why I want to read this for this exact prompt is because I probably wouldn't have picked it up if I didn't hear everybody raving about it. When I first like heard about this, it just said like their love is a scandal, and I was like, I don't get it. So I was like, everybody loves it. It's supposed to be like the next big romance between two figure skaters, and I actually love that plot. So still not sure what the scandal of this is, but I've heard nothing but good things, and as long as the scandal isn't like cringy or like a taboo reason, I'm here for it. But in case I start this and I'm like, no, couldn't care less, then I will just pick up this one, The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. This is the sequel to The Serpent and the Wings of Night, which I finally reread after wanting to reread it for a very long time, and now it's time to pick up the sequel. I have read 6 Scorched Roses as well last month, and I loved it, and so I don't think this author can do anything wrong, so I really want to get into this just to finish one of her little mini-series inside her whole world. So this needs to get read. Now, if I actually want to go for the Master of Elements, then I need to do a bit more reading. So for that, I still needed to do the Elemental Studies with a fruit on the cover. Have that. Then I need to do shape-shifting, which needs to have like a dragon in the title, on the cover, or in the plot. And I want to read Dragon Rider by Taran Matharu. For this, it has it in the title, on the cover, and inside the plot, I'm guessing. The sequel is coming out now and I have the arc for it, so I still need to get to the first book actually. I haven't heard too many people talk about this, so I'm going into it not knowing too much, which is actually fine. It has dragons in it. I mean, what can go wrong, right? I need to be in my dragon era, and since this Aurelium season is all about dragons and dragons that we need to find and save, I feel like this works perfectly for it. Next up, we need to read something for animal studies, and for that I need to steal a book from someone else's TBR. And thankfully a lot of people have already put up like spring TBRs or April TBRs, and I found lots of books that I could actually steal for this prompt. So I could read The Sky on Fire by Jen Lyons, which is another book with dragons. I mean, I'm here for it. I could read the third book in the trilogy of God Killer. It is coming out now. I have the arc. I could also steal The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. Or I could just watch Becca's TBR and just steal The Teller of Small Fortunes from her. Like I said, still want to read this even though I have started this already. Or Of Jade and Dragons by Amber Chen. Or The Night Ends with Fire, or Song of Silver Flame Like Night, which is something that I've already started and I'm halfway through, because all of these are on her TBR and I want to read them as well. Lots of people to thank for these inspirations, and one of these books will be read for this prompt. I'm probably gonna go for one of Becca's books because she's reading a lot of Chinese inspired books for her trip to China with Gavin. And I was supposed to be on that trip. I had planned to go, I had a spot, but then life happened and finances happened and work happened and it just didn't really fit right now. So I had to cancel my plans to go. So instead I'm deciding to be petty and I'm just gonna read a bunch of books that were Chinese or Asian inspired. So I have lots of books that I still want to read, and some of them were just mentioned. But yeah, for the I think 9 or 10 days that they are over there, I'm gonna be here reading because that's what you do when you can't go on vacation. But I am gonna see their vlogs, I'm gonna live vicariously through them, and I'm just gonna be happy for them for the amazing adventure that awaits them. But alas, I'm not going to be there, but I'm going to read some amazing books, I'm sure. Next up, for Master of Elements, I need to read for astronomy, and that is that I need to use color wheel. And I did that, and I ended up with the color pink, which is actually perfect. I had lots to choose from, and I decided to go with The Veiled Kingdom by Holly Renee. I have been meaning to get to this one, and it is a very short book, I think, so that should be easy to get through. This is kind of like the typical new adult romantasy title where she is like a lost princess or like a princess on the run, and he is the son of the rebel leader, and she's now kind of part of the rebellion, but nobody knows that she's the princess, and there is like tension between them and all that good stuff. Then we have Conjuration, and for that I need to pick a random country from a random country generator and read a book from that country. And G said that I could like generate 5 countries and pick one of them, but that wasn't gonna happen because I had like the worst of luck with it. I don't remember all the countries that I had, but I had no book from any of those countries. I'm sorry. I know I could have gone and tried to find something, but I do want to kind of stick to my TBR because I have so many books that I want to read. So I just continued generating, and the 6th or 7th country that I got was Canada. And I was like, I can work with Canada. So because I was kind of cheating, I wanted to give up some of the control again for the choosing of the book. So I asked in the community tab and also over on Instagram what kind of book I should read, and I gave you guys some things to choose from. You guys did not know which kind of books there were, but they were all from Canadian authors, if you didn't guess. And you guys kind of surprised me. And you guys chose Gods of Jade and Shadow, which is something that has been on my digital TBR for years, and I never really thought I would pick up anytime soon. So thank you for choosing it. There were some outliers who wanted me to read The Rage of Dragons. Someone voted for The Malevolent Seven, which is something that I really want to get to because the sequel is coming out soon. Someone else said 10,000 Stitches. I also had a vote for Station 11, and I think I had one for She's Wrath. So it was a bit all over the place, but in the end, it was actually Gods of Jade and Shadow. So that's what I'm gonna be reading for this prompt. I know it's not what she had in mind with her 5 rolls of the generator, but that's what I'm going with. I'm making the game work for me. And the last prompt that I would need for the Master of Elements would be Restoration again, which was the book with a 4+ star rating, which was the favorites. That is my Aurelium TBR. We'll see if I actually make it to Master of Elements, or if I'm just gonna keep it small and just stay with the Hearth Keeper path, because I feel like that is cozy, that is cute. I can stay with this one, and food is always a good thing. I mean, I have some foodie titles as well, so that would work very well. And some of you are probably gonna be like, B, what are you doing? Those are like a lot of books that you've already mentioned, and I'm not even done yet. Yes, but I also hope to take part in 30 and 30. If you don't know what that is, I think it was made popular by Jade from JD Ray Reads, and it is just basically trying to read 30 books in 30 days in April. So not one book a day, but overall 30 and 30. And we can read manga, we can read graphic novels, which is something that I do want to try to do to kind of make that happen. I'm going in knowing that I'm not going to read 30 books. That's just not going to happen. But I want to keep that as a goal for me to pick up books every day and just keep reading and having fun. And because of that, I feel confident in putting a lot of titles on my TBR just to see where this is going. And some of these, like the next couple of things that I'm going to show you that I picked for my TBR game, those count for 2 months. So this is going to be the TBR game for April and May. But I'm also going to try something new this coming weekend, and that is that I'm going to play Just Beat That Timer, which is like a very mini version of my monthly TBR game. This wasn't an original idea of mine. I am copying Stephanie's mini Star Hop game that she's doing. I always love her vlogs for those. And the idea behind it is to get through this whole little game in 48 hours and read books accordingly. So this is the mini version where I actually just put the different rooms together, and there are the same kind of prompts that I have for my big game. And so I'm going to try to win this game and hopefully read a lot of books for it, because it can be evil and send me back if my cat or the detective finds me. So we will see how that goes. So that will be the first weekend of the month. I don't have to work that weekend, so I'm going to try to do it then. So I'm kind of hoping that the game is kind of evil to me, but I'm also hoping that it knows its limits, or it knows my limits. We'll see. So of course I started filming this when the sun sets, so we're probably gonna have to change the setting of the light very soon, but we'll see how far I can go. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna show you my first roll for this bi-monthly TBR game, Just Beat That TBR. Welcome to the next round of Just Beat That TBR. The first thing that we need to figure out is the who and the how. So we're gonna shuffle these. I'm looking away. And we're gonna take this one. Ooh, contemporary. And now let's figure out where we're gonna go first. The murder weapon is gonna be the coffee hardcover. Okay. So we're gonna start over here. And then the reader is gonna try to get to the coffee, maybe through the publishers, if that's, I think that makes the most sense, or I have to go around the publishers. That would mean more rolls, but with this one it would be an added arc that I needed to read it. And after that, we'll see, I don't know yet, we'll put these here. And I'm gonna shuffle my final destination, the murder scene. And I'm not gonna show you guys. I'm just gonna say, this is it. And I'm gonna put it over here. We'll come back to that one. Okay, let's go for the first roll. 3. 1, 2, 3. That would give us the bookmark, which would mean that I need to read a paperback. Or I can go 1, 2, 3. That would be a genre. I think I'm gonna go for the paperback. So the first prompt that I got was to read a paperback, and for that I chose The Favorites. It's floppy, it's a beautiful paperback. What do you want more? I just couldn't resist picking this one up. Okay, roll number 2. Another 3. 1, 2, 3, that would be a free choice. 1, 2, 3, that would be a theme. And I think I'm just gonna go for the free choice. That means I can pick any of the categories. I think I'm gonna go for something that's gonna make it easier for me, and that is the format. No big surprises here, I think. The wand, which is a free choice. Great, a free choice for the free choice. That's perfect. Next up we had the free choice, and again the free choice when we picked another prompt for it. And so for this I'm gonna choose Faithbreaker by Hannah Canna. And the reason why I picked it for this prompt exactly is because actually the wand is the free choice between the format that I could read this in. And since I have a digital ARC of this, I could read it digitally. There's also an audiobook that I can listen to for this, or I could go ahead and buy a physical copy, because that's probably gonna happen anyway, and read it that way. So any way I read it works for this prompt. Okay, now let's go through the publishers. I have a lot of ARCs that I need to get to anyway. A 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I can go to roll it again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next up we went through the publishers, and that means that I have to read an ARC, and for that I chose The God and the Guizen, which is something that I've already had on my TBR anyway, and it is one of my most anticipated ARCs anyway. Now before I find out where I need to go, I actually have to do the roll again. So a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, which would be a theme. 1, 2, 3, 4 would be another murder weapon. 1, 2, 3, 4 would be another like suspect. I think I'm gonna go here just because I'm not sure where I need to go. So this is, I think, the best choice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry if you didn't see what I did over there. Okay, that is a secret passage right now. Let's figure out what it is. Ooh, 2 different things. It could be an intended audience, or it could be a vibe. Now let's figure out which prompt I'm gonna use. 6, so it's a vibe. So I need to find a book that is a cozy rainy day, Sunday, or a seasonal read. Nice. Next we got a new kind of prompt. I don't think we had this one before, and that is the kind of vibe that I want from a certain book. And this time around it's gonna be a cozy rainy day Sunday or a seasonal read. Of course I don't want a rainy day Sunday to happen. I want all the sun right now, like this. I want this the whole time, but it just means like cozying up with a blanket and a coffee maybe, or something, and a good book. And so I decided to go with The Floating World by XCO. I loved her previous book, which was like a very cozy magical retelling, and I feel like this next book is going to be kind of the same. I actually don't know anything about the plot of it, so I'm just gonna go in blind. I just know it's gonna have a very like lyrical writing style to it, and so that will work out perfectly, even if I have to stay inside because it rains. But maybe I can actually read this in the sun out somewhere during my holiday. That would be perfect. And now we can also find out where we're gonna go next. So we had the reader, we had the coffee, And now the murder scene is gonna be at a friend's house, which means a buddy read. Which means that in the end, I'm gonna have to find a book that is a contemporary, that is a hardcover, and that is a buddy read. That might be kind of difficult, but we'll see. And the friend's house is right here, so I have to come back to the starting point. So I could go through the publishers again, or I could go this way. Let's see what I'm gonna roll to find out which way I'm gonna go. 3. I think I'm gonna make it a bit more interesting and I'm gonna go around. I'm probably gonna regret this, but let's go. 1, 2, 3. That is a Mr. Body card. Let's find out what it is. Color. And let's figure out which one I'm going to use. Number 4. Which means that I need to find a book that is pink or purple on the cover. I now see that I could have done the random color wheel, but this is fine as well. I'm just going to go for a pink or purple book. Next up was Kismet because we got color and we actually rolled for the color pink or purple, and that works perfectly for the color wheel that we had for the Aurelium. And so again, I chose the Veiled Kingdom for this one. Of course, that works perfectly. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another Mr. Body card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would mean any of the rooms, which is how I got some of these books. I think I'm gonna go for that one this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The destination. Okay, let's figure out what I need to read for. Ooh, the bookshop. The bookshop. It's a new book. Read your most recent purchase or a book that you bought this year. Next up, we had the bookshop, and that means that I need to read the book that I purchased last. Now, actually, the last book that I purchased was Death in the Clouds by Agatha Christie, and I read it right away for the Solve-Along Gavin, so that I read. The book before that was Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, and I read that the same day that I got it in one sitting, so again, I couldn't pick that one. And the book before that is something that I actually can read during April, and that is A Cruel Thirst by Angela Montoya. Again, I actually don't know much about the plot of this. I have to say, this cover kind of took me in, and I'm guessing it is about vampires. And I feel like I remember it's about a vampire hunter as well. Love that combination, enemies to lovers. I'm here for it. Let's see if this holds up to the expectation of just being a fun read, maybe a little bit gothic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I roll a 6, I can get into the room. If not, we're gonna have another roll. Yes! Oh god, and you didn't even see it. I swear it's the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're at the murder scene, and now we have to find a book that is a contemporary, that is a hardcover, and that is a buddy read. And then we actually got to our murder scene. We can actually slay that TBR by choosing a book that is a hardcover, a contemporary novel, and also a buddy read. And for a second, I thought I wouldn't find anything, because who do I buddy read with, like, for this kind of book? I really don't. But it was very lucky that I actually have a live meetup group, like a book club, and we are reading The Fellowship of Puzzle Makers by Samuel Burr. This was actually my pick because I found this cute edition of it when I went to Edinburgh in the beginning of February, and I had started the German arc that I had for this last year. I really enjoyed it, but I kind of never finished it. I decided to ask my fellow readers in our book club if we wanted to read this, and they agreed. So yay! This is set not only during, I think, 2016, but also back in the 70s and 80s, when this kind of fellowship of puzzle makers gets together and they move into one big mansion and live there together, and one day they find an orphan on their doorstep, and we switch back between them starting out and also in the year 2016, when this little orphan has grown up into a 25-year-old man who's now trying to find out like why he happened to end up on their doorstep. So what I read before I really enjoyed, but I do want to start from the beginning. What I do remember is that there are actually little puzzles in it that you can try to solve along the main character, and so that is kind of a neat way of putting the whole theme of puzzle makers inside the plot as well. So those 7 books are actually my TBR for April and May. So if I don't get to all of these books in April, it's not a big deal. I can just roll them over. Of course, I still have the Courting of Bristol Keats as well as the Dagger and the Flame that I have rolled over. They're still on the pile of shame, and I still have to kind of figure out when to read these. But I just got the audiobook for the Courting of Bristol Keats, so I feel like that should help me with picking it up. Some other books that I am trying to read this coming month is not Valor, but Ruin by John Gwynne. I read Valor for the read-along for the series, and I finished very late with Valor. I finished it on the 1st of April. So I kind of want to start early with Ruin just so that I can actually finish it on time for the live show for it. And I've heard nothing but great things about the 3rd book. I enjoyed this one way more than the first one. I did not like the first book. The second one I really enjoyed, so I'm hoping to go into the 3rd book and finding maybe a new favorite of a series, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm actually very intrigued to figure out like what's gonna happen to all of these people. Then, of course, because of Aurelium, we have to look at the Aurelium readathon that is happening the whole year. And I'm sad to say that I have not read every single month for that readathon. I wanted to read one a month, like the prompts suggest, but again, that just didn't happen. So I still have to read 3 books. I'm not going to tell you which ones, but I have to read 3 books to start my path. But for April, the prompt that I need to read for is a book that has a river in the title. And so I have A Song to Drown Rivers and A River of Royal Blood that I could choose from. Now this has been on my TBR since 2019, since I've got this arc. I have been meaning to get to this one, and I still haven't. So this would be the perfect opportunity to do so, but this one is maybe a bit more timely because it actually was just released in Germany. And also this is by a Chinese author. She was born in Beijing and grew up in China and Australia. So this would work also for my idea of reading books inspired by Chinese myths and lore. So I don't know. Have you read any of these? What do you think? Which one should I read for this prompt? Speaking of prompts, I am also doing the Buzzwordathon this year, and I did well with January and February, but I didn't end up reading anything for March, and that was to read a book that had books on the cover and also to read a book that has the word thing in the title. And for those, I wanted to read Chloe Gong Vilest Things, which was the sequel to Immortal Longings. And for the book prompt, I had The Wishing Game on my radar. So these are still on my TBR just to finish the March prompts. And then for the April prompts, we have Animal, and I already have some in mind for that as well. So those I will keep secret, but one of them is going to be an arc, and one of them I already mentioned in this video, so maybe you can figure out which one that is. And because we love chaos over here, let me just show you some books that I'm hoping to get to this month, even though some of them are huge. The month is short, and I am crazy, I'm guessing. But some things that are on my mind right now are, for example, Lev Grossman's The Bright Sword. The reason behind it is this is being released in Germany next month, so I really want to get to it. And even though I'm not like the biggest fan of Arthurian legends, I feel like this might be different because it actually starts after the whole Arthurian legend happened, and we follow someone who just came a bit late to the party. Like I said, I had hoped that you guys would choose The Malevolent 7 for the Canada prompt because the sequel is coming out soon and I've been meaning to get to this one. It has like a cast of misfits that have to save the world even though they're supposed to be the villains. I mean, do I need to know more? No. I really want to read Don't Let the Forest In. I heard nothing but great things. This is supposed to have amazing ace representation, and everybody loves the writing style and has all these quotes that they kind of highlighted, and so that's kind of what I want to do. I want to go in, I just want to immerse myself into this book and find a new favorite, hopefully. The same goes for Green Teeth by Molly O'Neill. I haven't heard too many people talk about this, but it does sound very like cozy, but maybe a bit creepy as well. I mean, look at this cover. It is a bit creepy. You have to admit that. So hopefully this is something that I will get to as well. Now, Cassandra Clare Swordcatcher, there is a bookmark in it because I had started this when it came out and I actually enjoyed this. I just had to put it down for some reason and I never picked it back up. Now I have the arc for the sequel, which is coming out or has come out. So I do want to get back to it and actually continue with the series because I had fun while I was reading this. But I think I have to start over because I don't really remember too much of it. A book that I just found randomly when I was in Edinburgh is Lord of the Empty Isles by Jules Arbeau. This is the cutest cover ever. This is just a cozy sci-fi with like a queer love story in it. It's supposed to be a kind of like Winter's Orbit, but also the Long Way to a whatever it's called, Angry Planet. And so that kind of got me right away. So here we go. I'm hoping to get to this one. It isn't too long, so maybe I can actually manage to pick it up this month. And then of course on the 8th, the third book in the Powerless series is coming out. So I'm hoping to reread the first book, read the second book, which I haven't read yet, and then go into the third book right away when it comes out. Is that gonna happen? Probably not, but I have pre-ordered the book, so it should arrive sometime soon. I have read Powerful in February, March, one of the months, and I really enjoyed that one. I gave it 4.5 stars. I loved being back in the world, and Powerful actually takes place at the same time as Powerless, and we just follow a different character. And so I just want to go back. I want to reread this one and just be back with the characters because I had a lot of fun reading this when it first came out. So those are the books that I have my eye on for April and partly for May. Not sure how many I'm actually gonna get to or if these are the ones that I actually pick up. There is also a kind of vlog that I want to do. I know, I told you, I'm not gonna tell you I'm gonna do this in this vlog, but I'm just gonna do it anyway, and I'm gonna tell you that I want to do the next kind of vlog for Bindery. I did have a vlog go up last year where I tried the first 4 books that Bindery published. This is kind of a new way of publishing where the decision making is actually put to the public, and we have influencers who are trying to figure out which book is going to be the next big thing. It actually worked out perfectly for the last vlog. I had 3 books out of the 4 that I adored. I think 1 or 2 were actually in my favorite videos, so I'm hoping that they have like a knack for finding the hidden gems. And because different influencers are behind each book, we have a very diverse set of books that are published each year. And so the next round of books are coming out in June, so I'm hoping to read it in April and May as well. But I think that actually is it. I'm gonna have a hell of a time editing all of this. I am sorry to future me. I'm sorry to my voice because it's gone now. And thank you if you stuck around until the end. Let me know down in the comments if you've read any of the books or if you're taking part in any of the readathons that I mentioned. That's it for now. I think I got everything in this, and we still have a bit of light left. Yay me! Yay spring! And until the next time, I hope you have all the great reads. Bye!